All right, we are on Tactic 5, and whether I've been calling it Tactic 5 throughout the rest of this course, you have heard me mention this over and over and over in this course. It's Tactic 5, get to the table, lead conversion. Now, why have I been mentioning this over and over again? Because I think everything in the course up to this point and everything in this book up to this point is leading you to this moment. Okay? So here's the part of it that I want you to hear is two things. Number one, it's going to be from Bruce Hardy of Spokane, Washington. He says, I suddenly realized I didn't have a lead generation problem. I had a lead conversion problem. We had lots of leads, but we weren't turning them into sales. So two things about that. We want to talk about what does it mean to convert a lead. But the second is, how did he know? Think about that. Think about what we've already talked about. I suddenly realized that I didn't have a lead generation problem. How did he realize that? It's because he's tracking things. He's absolutely tracking things. Tracking things that we've talked about in the past is not negotiable. You don't know if what you're doing is effective or ineffective unless you are properly tracking things, okay? Where did you get the lead? That's the lead source. How many of those leads did you actually connect with? There's a certain amount of leads that you will reach out to them 12 times and still never make contact. So how do you know what is the lead source and how many leads do you have in each lead source? How many of those actually did you get on the phone? How many of those did you convert into an appointment? How many of those appointments did you get them under contract and start getting out there and showing them homes as a buyer's agent? How many of them did you actually list their home? How many of those did you actually get under contract? How many of the ones did you get under contract actually sold and actually help people accomplish their goals and put food on your table? Okay, you've got to track that stuff. You have to have a system for tracking everything. Now, so notice how this really dovetails with everything else we've talked about. But here is kind of what we started this course with, and what I don't know that this is mentioned right away in the book, but I mentioned it right away in this course about this book. And this is where I got it. So I'm going to read it to you because I think that this stat that I gave earlier is crucial. And it's one of the most important parts of this entire chapter is realizing this next fact. National Association of Realtors, NAR, research over the years has consistently communicated that the real competition in real estate is getting to the table, not at it. Okay? Here's why. We've talked about this, so you know what's coming. Their revealing statistics show that approximately 2/3 of buyers and sellers only interview one agent. That's so important. That's so important. If you are not building up your skill set to set the appointment, they usually only meet with one person. Okay? If you don't get them before they set an appointment with someone else, you are just not even in the conversation, okay? So the revealing statistics show that approximately 2/3 of the buyers and sellers only interview one agent, and approximately half of the remainder only interview two. Getting to the table first or second is what matters. And this makes conversion more important than the presentation. How many people, again, get real, get right. Are we spending time building out our listing presentation? I'm not saying that the listing presentation isn't freakishly important and valuable. I know some great coaches and some great teachers that actually give you some of the most amazing listing presentations. But I'm telling you right now, if you have the greatest listing presentation that's ever existed, but you don't get to the table first or second, you are not part of the conversation. You're not. I don't care how good your listing presentation is, okay? So again, get real, get right. What really matters here, okay? And this makes conversion more important than the presentation. The competitive battle is almost single-handedly won simply by getting an appointment before someone else does. Now, this next statement, I am speaking to myself. I'm not speaking to you. The way I think is that there's always someone better than me out there. There's always going to be someone better than me out there. I can put together the best listing presentation in the world. So if they had 8 people at the table, okay, they brought 8 people in to decide between, I'm still not going to win every time. And why? Because there's someone who's got a better listing presentation. But the beautiful thing is, I'm usually not competing against 8 people, and there may be even just 2 or 3 or 4 of them, but only one of them would have to have a better listing presentation than me to win if it was all about the listing presentation. That's not what the stats show. The stats show they're not going to be looking at 8 listing presentations. Yes, put together the best one that you can, the one that brings the most clarity as to who you are and what you can do to help them accomplish their goals. But I would say ask more questions than present facts, okay? They should be talking more than you, in my opinion, okay? But yes, have a great listing presentation. But I'm telling you right now, if that's where your focus and where your time and you're new in the business and you really want to build the best listing presentation, I'm telling you right now, even if you get there and you can just relate to them and ask great questions and you have no listing presentation, if you can get to the table and ask great questions, I'm telling you, I believe with all of my heart, and the stats back it up, that you are more likely to get the business and be able to help them accomplish their goals if you just get to the table, whether you have a great listing presentation or not. Get there. That's the focus. Ask them great questions. Yes, have a great listing presentation. Okay? The number one challenge you face after you've encountered a lead opportunity is not making a winning presentation. It's winning the appointment. And I put on there, this is huge. Those are my own notes. Our industry is about getting appointments, buyers and seller agreements, and sales contracts. If you don't get the appointment, you won't get an agreement and you won't get a contract. To win at the table, you must first get to the table. Great, great, great line to sum this all up. When you say you're lead generating, be clear. Get real. Okay, get all that. Well, you've heard all this stuff before or on previous videos, but clear that you actually are getting the appointment. You're getting to the table. If you aren't, then you're not actually lead generating. Don't tell me you're lead generating if you're not setting appointments. Just because you're getting names, just because you're getting numbers, just because you're picking up the phone, that's not lead generating. Okay? Redefine what lead generation means to you. And don't speak about it in any other terms than what you just redefined it as. And I'm telling you right now, this particular section of the book is not a bad way to define what lead generation is. Okay? Whew. Man, that's a good one. That is just such good insight in this book. But everything is based on that as well. So if this doesn't work for you, you have no business. When we talk about the finances and everything else like that, is if you're not setting the appointments, you're never going to get the contracts. You never get the contracts. They're never going to get under contract. You're never going to close. You're never going to have any money. You got no money to manage now. Okay. So anyways, I think that this is a very, 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 very important chapter. From there, it's going to talk about 6 connection questions. I'm going to let you go through all of this stuff on your own. But what I wanted to point out to you, he's going to talk about closings and different types of closings and blah, 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 10 different types of closings, the hard close, the soft close, direct close. Okay. I'm very opinionated on the whole closing thing, so I'm going to leave that opinion out. This is about the book. I've given a couple opinions. That one would take me a while. I'm all about, they keep talking about in here, ask for the sale, all that type of stuff. Yeah, well, whatever. It's not my style, okay? Always be asking for the sale and always be closing is not my style. I am always worried about doing what it takes to earn the right to ask for the sale. My number one focus is to do what it takes to earn the right for anything. Earn the right to ask for the business. Earn the right to ask for the sale. Earn the right to ask for the close. I'm more focused on what I have to do to earn the right to get the appointment, all of those types of things. I'm telling you right now, I'm all about earning the right. And a lot of these closings just don't resonate with me. That doesn't matter, okay? Okay, that's a different video. That's a different topic. You need to understand what does work for you. And here's the key from previous chapters. You need to be honest and get right. Is what you love and what resonates with you, is it effective? Is it effective? If what you are doing is not effective, I almost don't even care if what you're doing you like. Okay? The fact is, go back to previous chapters again, is if what you're doing is not effective, it doesn't matter. If what is effective is something you don't like, assuming it's still ethical and it treats people well and it takes compassion into consideration, not asking you to do unethical things, okay? But if you start doing some things that maybe aren't your favorite, don't ask if it resonates with you. Ask this question. This is important to me. The older I've gotten, the more I ask myself this. It's not, does that resonate with me? I ask, should it resonate with me? Okay? Is there an approach that is more effective that should resonate with you and you maybe should commit to building a skill set in that area? And once you start succeeding in that area, all of a sudden it's amazing how that success now breeds other things that become fun to you, and that becomes an area that you become very strong in. And because you become very strong in it, and you get recognized and you get rewarded for it financially with your peers and everything else like that, it's amazing how all of a sudden now you like it. Okay. So anyways, great chapter. And to me, it's a crucial chapter. There's a lot more in this chapter about closing. So I will leave that alone. And we're going to move on to tactic 6, catch people in your web internet lead conversion. Now, that's going to change. That's probably changed a lot over the last year to 3 years, 5 years. It's going to change a ton more, probably even more than what we experienced the last couple of years in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So let's talk about the internet. All right.